Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, Orly, it's Tiffany. How are you?
Good. Did you just know that from my voice?
I did.
Oh, good girl. I'm like that, and people are always just shocked. How did you know?
Right?
But this morning I woke up with a full-blown cold, so I feel like, blech. Oh well.
Ooh, you got to take
Yeah.
zinc. Get some zinc lozenges, and
Yeah.
it will zap it. You eat like 6 of them a day, and they're kind of like really stuck on them like all day long. But I swear,
Oh.
I promise you, your cold will be gone.
Okay, I'm all for it. I'm gonna go buy some. I also used to use Manuka honey
Mm.
before I moved to the United States, so I'm gonna look for that as well.
Well, this is American Manuka honey or whatever you
It's honey.
Manuka.
Say that 10 times fast.
I haven't had coffee yet. It's bright and early where I live.
Wait, you're in New Jersey, right?
No, I'm in Phoenix.
Oh, wow. So is it 3 hours or 2 hours behind?
Well, right now it's 2, thank God. When it's 3, it's going to be quite interesting, but I'm committed, so.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. I missed yesterday.
Oh, well, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. I was discombobulated.
That's how I felt yesterday. I actually, I'm preparing for my finals at school, which is culinary school. So preparing for finals is, creating my dishes. I was in the kitchen dropping knives, dropping a tray. I was really discombobulated. It's
probably because you know why you woke up with the cold, right?
Yeah, exactly. Anybody else online? Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, is that Kelly?
No, this
Hi.
is Jamie.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, and it's Orly online as well.
Orly, I'm going to throw my mute on. I always wait for my son to wake up, and I don't want him, Mommy! So I'm gonna throw my mute on. It was good chatting. Well, does anyone, today's Thankful Thursday, so does anyone out there want to say, like, maybe something that goes along Thankful Thursday, or does anyone have a win or an eco merger they want to share about or anything? Anybody? No?
This is Orly. I'm really grateful and thankful that I accomplished I'm in culinary school, and that's a big thing for me. It's people think it's a very visual thing to be in cooking school, in a commercial kitchen. And next week I get my diploma. I've graduated, and I'm very excited about that.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, Orly.
Yeah, thank you.
I saw we had Nick Champagne on the line. Nick, I haven't gotten a chance to meet you. My name's Tiffany Armstrong. I just wanted to say good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, what's up?
I finally feel like human again, joining society. Hey, good morning, Nick. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Charles.
How's it going?
And Tiffany and Jamie and Catherine. I can't see who else. Yeah, no, I finally feel human again after Date with Destiny.
Was it a good one?
It was epic. Yes, it was absolutely epic. Hey, Tia.
Awesome.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning. You back to normal, Kelly?
Yes.
Getting there?
Yeah, after not hitting the pillow till nearly 7 a.m. yesterday.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for everything you did. You guys are amazing.
Totally my pleasure. It's one of my favorite things I look forward to all year long.
Oh, amazing.
Let's see, we have good morning, Ron. Who else do we have here? Craig.
Oh, good morning, everybody. I was trying to talk. Good morning. How are you, Kelly? Wow, you are being praised left and right. Holy cow.
Well, I'll tell you what, I snuck up on your wife a couple of times during the event, and that girl was playing full out, 10,000%.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Everybody's just talking about
You have absolutely every reason.
No, but everybody's talking about what a rock star you were the whole time, just from beginning to end.
Yes. Yes.
We got a bunch of people already on. Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Hello.
Oh, it's so much fun.
You've been amazing. Yeah. Good morning, Fernando.
Hi, everyone. Great
How are
rising.
you?
I am doing outstanding. It is Trajectory Thursday. I am pumped. I am excited. I am so glad to be home. Kelly is smiling after not sleeping for 6 days. What is happening, Kelly? What else we got on here? You got
Fernando, I was there for 10 days.
10 days. Yeah, we got Nick Champagne.
10 days, yeah.
We got Tia, Craig, we got Ron, Sergio. Oh my God, all these cameras. Jay Levine, pretty face. Let's go. Get that camera going, brother. You got Catherine, you got Diane Higby, what the haps? We got Ruth, Craig, Rob, Martha's on the call, Jim, Tiffany, what's happening, Tiffany? Garrett, oh, that's my homie Garrett. Garrett's actually one of the kids that, I don't even want to call him a kid, one of the gentlemen that I got to share UPW with, that Kavan brought 50 of them to UPW. Me and Garrett actually got to share a room, and we became like the best of friends. He's actually joining us in January as my guest, so I'm super happy that Garrett's here. We got Robin and everyone, but it is 8:31, so let's jump right in. Adam, are you here? So Adam's going to be jumping in. So Sean Callaghy is on the plane. He is in the air on his way.
I am here. I was just muted, Fernando, awesome. But I am here.
Thank you, Mr. Gugino. So Sean is in the air on the way to Utah on things called Proximity, which is his Silicon Valley startup. So we're going to jump in. So my commitment is 20 minutes. It is 8:31. We will be done with this call by 8:50. That is my word to you. So let's jump right in. So yesterday, we spoke about on the training, whoever was on the training, thank you. We went really deep. And by the way, if you're like on these calls and you're not doing the training, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But I've been hearing things, so pause. I've been hearing things a lot like, and all these stories, and Darcy's like, yeah, everyone's talking about, these stories and things, and people are like, I still don't get the formula. And yeah, maybe. But what's present for me when I hear that is that we haven't sharpened your listening, because in the stories, you're not supposed to listen to the stories for like, oh my God, look how awesome Fernando is, or Adam, or Sean, or Jared. That's not the point of the stories. The point of the stories are for you to hear how the formula is being used within the stories. So my commitment to you is to not only sharpen your language, but to also sharpen your listening. Because if you're listening to the stories and you're walking away and going, wow, Adam's amazing, but what does that have to do with me? Like, that is a suboptimal 5D listening. That is suboptimal. Doesn't mean it's wrong or good. It's suboptimal. Doesn't mean it's like bad or anything. It's just suboptimal. Suboptimal is okay. Everyone here, we've committed to coachability and openness. So the stories are not meant to like brag, which is the word Darcy used yesterday. What they're meant for is to create distinctions and for you to listen for how the formula is being used. What's up, Michael Smikin? Michael Smikin in the building. So we're going to jump in. Yesterday on the training, we went really deep.
Hey, Fernando, sorry.
No, it's all good. Thank you. Who is that?
Yep, it's me. Hey, man. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, man? You're still in Florida. I walked in your office yesterday. I tried to grab your bat, but I felt bad. So now that I told you, I might not feel as bad. So now jumping back in, yesterday, we were talking about heroic unique identity on the training. We went deep into the distinctions of speaking into the listening, what that means, having people see their future in you, what that means, and then the ultimate outcome, and this is something very powerful for you to write down, is a heroic unique identity. The outcome of heroic unique identity is to speak into the listening of the peoples or ecosystem so that they see their future in you. Let me repeat that one more time. The power of heroic unique identity is to speak into the listening of people. Hello? Good.
Hey, Fernando, your mic keeps breaking up. I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Is this better?
Yes, that's much better.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Tiffany. So yes, the outcome of heroic unique identity is to speak into the listening of the peoples, or ecosystem so that they see their future in you. And Sean was talking about a conversation about this guy named Jacques, whose real name was Gil. And he was talking about these imaginary people who had a suboptimal conversation. And those people were actually Adam, Tiffany, and myself. So Michael has given me a beautiful access in truth and authenticity. So in truth telling, Adam, Tiffany, and myself, we were suboptimal. And we learned a lot from it. Sean gave us some distinctions on heroic unique identity and how we can always speak into the listening. So today, on today's call, I want to bring in Adam, and I want to talk about that conversation. And I want to talk about what happened after that conversation, why it was suboptimal, and how we feel about it. Have we beat ourselves up? Maybe, but we beat ourselves up in the way that we're looking to improve our mastery. Because when we're suboptimal, that doesn't mean we're right or wrong. That means that we are aware of access. We're aware to access to mastery. So in service of you, with the time we have, we want to give you an idea on how to download conversations like that and the power of being in the formula and what that creates for people. So Adam, are you unmuted, brother? I know that you're currently a little busy, but I want to jump in conversation with you.
Yeah, absolutely. We could get it going, and I will jump in and out. I am unmuted. So,
beautiful.
Rock.
All right, so let's talk about it. So let's set the stage. So Jonathan Cohen, which is business partners with Sean Callaghy. He owns Trillions, Idea Lab New York. He's on stage at Tony Robbins, a significant influencer in the ecosystem of Platinum, Lions, and all the jazz. Introduces us to this gentleman named Gil. And I think the easiest way to describe Gil is that he's a mogul that has a very large following in Russia, lives in Singapore, has started about 170 companies from Europe to Russia. He has single-handedly brought 28,000 Russians to Tony Robbins' first event in Russia. He usually on average brings anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 Russians to Tony Robbins events all over the world. So it was a really big opportunity, and Jonathan had made the introduction. And me, Adam, Tiffany, and I had this beautiful conversation, which we are in agreement was suboptimal because we lacked in our ability to convey the proper heroic, unique identity. So Adam, I want to bring you in. How did it feel? You said you had 3 massive breakthroughs at Date with Destiny. So if you can please start with what were those breakthroughs? And on number 3, share how was your experience of being able to pitch and catch with me and Tiffany, with Tiffany and I in the formula, Adam.
Yeah. So believe it or not, being at Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny, the massive breakthroughs weren't coming from stage, which of course it was an amazing event and, incredible content. Tony Robbins always knows how to, make magic happen. But like you said, the breakthroughs were coming from the use of the formula and seeing it at work on several different occasions. Now, with this experience that we described, that you described, was where it was in full effect, and just even in the original approach, of course, there was some intimidation, and everybody on this call has mentioned at times that they may or may not have been intimidated around their own unique identity or who they may be speaking to. And with the setup you gave of walking up to Gil, I mean, I think we could both say that we had a little trepidation. However, and it started off a little tough too, because when I first started the conversation and looked to begin to go into step 1 and ask some questions, knowing we had some background on him, Gil immediately spun it back on us and said, no, wait, let me hear about Sean. I heard a little bit about him. So as I went right into speaking about Sean, then Fernando, please, jump in. What did you do at that moment?
Thank you. So thank you, Adam. That's perfect setup. So let's sharpen your listening. So some of you might have heard, okay, so you walked up to someone and you had a conversation and he started talking. Maybe. That would be a suboptimal listening of the story. So let's sharpen your listening to what Adam just said. So what Adam just said, and Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, what Adam just said is that we walked up to Gil. There was a little confusion on maybe a little bit of trepidation. We don't know how to start. Maybe some of that energy was present when we walked up, and we were ready to go into step 1, which is building emotional rapport, the 5 questions. What happened is that Gil, the person we were speaking with, went right into asking us about Sean's heroic, unique identity. So Adam, just an answer, were you comfortable or uncomfortable when the beginning of the conversation went directly into step 3? Were you comfortable or uncomfortable?
I was immediately uncomfortable.
Okay. Can you share a little bit with all of us on why you were uncomfortable?
I was uncomfortable because knowing that we hadn't earned the right to, at that moment in the conversation, I didn't feel we had earned the right to begin to describe the heroic, unique identity of Sean, because we hadn't even had any understanding or did any listening around, Gil and his background. So I was extremely happy that you had jumped in at that moment and kind of took over the conversation. And from there, when you stopped him and you said, well, wait, hold on, we definitely want to talk about Sean and get into that, but please, we heard so much about you. Let's hear more about, what you've done. You're bringing everybody to Tony Robbins events and Jonathan told us such great things. And from there, things changed.
Perfect. So let's continue to sharpen the listening. So for everyone that's, in the story, once again, the opportunity could be hey, you walked up to someone and he started asking you questions, you felt uncomfortable, and then Fernando said something. Maybe that's not that is what was said, but once again, that's a suboptimal opportunity in your listening. So what Adam is saying in the language of the formula, because as we sharpen our language and we sharpen our listening, we raise our mastery. What happened was we walked into the conversation and Adam and I had a template. We had this formula called integrity-based human influence. And Darcy always asked me like, hey, are you always in the formula? Isn't that manipulative? No. The way Sean says it is like, do you use a GPS on your phone to go from like A to B? Yeah. Then why wouldn't you use a GPS in your conversations? That made a lot of sense to me. Hopefully that gives you some access. So Adam, like instantly, I don't even know if I said that correctly, but whatever. He like knew that he wasn't in the formula. He was asked to go into step 3. And I love the word, Adam, I love what you said. We didn't earn the right to convey our identity. And the reason why most of us don't convey our heroic, unique identity the way we hear Adam, Jared, Sean, Michael, Darcy do theirs is because we feel like we haven't earned the right. And that's like a beautiful access to remind us on why step 1 and 2 is so important. So once Gil asked Adam to go into 3, he did it. And he did an amazing job as he does, sharing his story and Sean's story. But I've heard Adam share a story many times, and it was like a 7 compared to his usual 9.99999 because he was uncomfortable because we weren't in the formula. So what I did is that I said, hey, you know, pattern interrupt. Hey, Gil, you know, this is awesome. Thank you, you know, for asking about us. But Jonathan said, you're an amazing man. And like, I'm interested. Like, why'd you decide to meet with us? Boom. Question 1, where have you been? And Adam, when I was able to take that conversation, acknowledge him, and flip it back, how did you feel then?
I could say that I definitely felt some relief and relaxed, and it was really, I want to say game on because it got exciting at that point. He really opened up and, you know, he took us back to his past right off the bat when he went through struggles in Russia, when he was living off $10 a week with him and his girlfriend. And that's where he discovered his ability to be a chef, because he had to dig deep into his cupboard and find the ingredients that were, you know, throughout and make things taste good from like nothing. And it made him such a good chef that he considers himself a Michelin chef today and does masterminds and has billionaire CEOs come to his house and he cooks for them. I mean, that's how the conversation started from your pattern interrupt and where we, you know, where the ball really started rolling.
Thank you. And let's dive a few more points that I think would be in service to our ecosystem today. One, as we were having the conversation, Adam, you know, we went into step 1, where have you been? Step 2, what are you doing now? I do masterminds. My wife runs Instagrams, all these things. What was something that Gil said when he's like, man, I usually don't do this? What is something that Gil said that you were very present and aware to? Do you recall?
So, yeah, absolutely. So Gil, when he was describing speaking on stage and what he does and how, you know, his overall kind of message is not to speak too much, to allow the other person to do most of the conversating in all situations. And then he like kind of looked up and in the air and said, you know, a little different from what I'm doing right now. And you could tell he felt uncomfortable with the fact that he was leading with his unique identity. But he didn't even know why. Like he didn't realize he wasn't in the formula. But yeah, he was a little confused by it, but he kept going because he just enjoyed telling his story to us. And we were acknowledging and validating throughout that process. So it continued on, although he felt a little uncomfortable speaking for like 20 minutes straight without us telling anything about ourselves.
Perfect. And let's continue to sharpen the listening. What Adam just shared is that, you know, this gentleman who speaks on stages all over the world, who travels, has a very significant, heroic, unique identity. And by the way, quick pause, please make sure you check out the chat. Michael Smikin is dropping wisdom and knowledge. In my personal opinion, I've never met anyone that has a deeper listening than Michael Smikin. I had the honor and pleasure of really finally spending some time with him at Date with Destiny. And 2 out of my like 10 largest breakthroughs came directly from Michael. So please check out the chats. He's active. He's on here. Michael Smikin is an absolute animal. So check out his conversations in there. He's been with Sean for over 10 years. So I don't think there's anyone that's been in the formula in more proximity to Sean than Michael Smikin. But to bring it back to Adam, what Adam said is that Gil noticed that he wasn't in his flow. And the power difference, like the power in what Adam just said, is that Gil didn't realize he realized that he wasn't in his flow. What he didn't have is a formula, a roadmap to know why. So he knew that he wasn't doing what he usually does. What he didn't know was why. And we know why is because he wasn't in the formula. He was in heroic unique identity. He had built zero rapport with us because we were controlling, we were managing the conversation because we were in the formula. And Adam and I felt really comfortable, and so did Tiffany, because we knew we were on track. Okay? And now let's end, as we have a few more minutes. The conversation ended with a call to action to get together. And what Adam and I realized is that the entire conversation, even though it was 45 minutes, we never left step 1 and 2. So this is another question Darcy has asked me. Darcy has sharpened my listening and my teaching better than anyone because she's constantly asking me questions, constantly challenging me. And I would recommend all of you to do the same with each other, is that you don't always have to go through the entire formula. If you want to build genuine rapport and you only have 45 minutes, you can't possibly go through all the formula. What you can do is know where you are in the formula and pick up where you left off, always remembering to check in, do a mini version of step 1 and 2, but you can continue. So the next time we talk to Gil, we're going to make sure we go 1 and 2 right back into 3, because we know, because we have this beautiful formula that where we are. Adam?
Yeah, no, and I want to just point out, and you could add on this too, we did miss 2 access points that we talked about afterwards. And one was when he gave us his, concept of what he would describe as merging ecosystems and the exponential benefits, but he said 1 + 1 = 3. And I think we had a chance for some fun energy, and we had a chance to dive in with of course, our 1 + 1 = 1 trillion. You could get back to that. But the other part was also when he talked about how when he met Tony Robbins in 2015 and guaranteed and made a commitment to Tony Robbins that by 2018, he would have Tony Robbins' first event in Russia, and ended up bringing 28,000 people to that event. And it ended up actually not turning out the way that he wanted. And he didn't call it a failure, but he more or less did, because there was 100 people that were very unsatisfied with the outcome. I think that was a big opportunity for us to have gotten to his heart and spoke to the fact that, yeah, but what about the 27,000 people that you changed their lives? And I think he would have probably opened up a little bit more there. But I know we were a little bit, there's no excuse. There was a little bit of a rush. We didn't have, much more time. But I do think those were 2 missed access points. Please, tell me what your thoughts were on that too. I know we talked about it a little bit, Fernando.
Beautiful. So thank you, Adam. This is so much fun. I love doing this with you and with anyone. Let's define, let's sharpen the listening. Like, what is 5D listening? Is one of our 10 indispensable elements? Yes. And this is like 4 hours of content. I'm just going to give you a definition. 5D listening is listening for unique words or unique ideas and or energetical shifts. So when you're 5D listening, because people will give you a lot of information in a sentence. Like, hey, I went to Cliffside Park, I bought my first car, and that's where I had my first job. There's 3 areas that you can dig in. To me, there's 3. But what you want to listen to and what you want to speak into are things that are unique or that people express energetical shifts. And what Adam was saying is when he said, yeah, I brought 28,000 people, 27,900 were amazing, but 100 of them complained. She shifted. He was upset. It bothered him. That was an opportunity which Adam and I missed to speak into that listening, because he really wanted to share about that pain, and it would have been a good opportunity to go into step 2, which is pain and yes. So much more to digest there. It is 8:51, so I want to stop for a second and open it to everyone in the community. Is there any questions, thoughts, comments,
Fernando,
anything that Michael, Adam, Tiffany, Jared, or anyone can answer? Please, here's your opportunity. Yeah, please. Who's this?
Jay Levine.
Hey, what up, Jay?
Hey, Fernando. So kind of a 2-part question. First part of it is, you know, obviously when this formula spreads worldwide, we're going to be dealing with a lot of people who know the formula. So when you have two people, like obviously Gil knew the formula, but he didn't know it well enough to keep himself in the formula. So you guys were able to kind of shift that conversation towards you guys. So that's great. But now what if there's a battle back and forth between, well, what did you do? Well, what did you, you know, what if that emotional, do you give in at any point if they're, you know, pushing back like that in a way?
You know, that's a beautiful question. I know one of our 10 indispensable elements is congruent. So we never want to create push energy. We definitely never want to create friction. So one of the concepts I'm playing with is mini heroic unique identities. Like if someone is pushing to know about me, that's a beautiful opportunity to answer, but to always have in mind that I can bring it back, or we can bring it back into the formula. And I believe that if all of us are in the formula, we're actually going to have more effective communication, because we're going to be able to be heard, seen. Like Sean and Michael can talk for 4 minutes, which would take most people, you know, 2 hours, because they're so primed in their listening and their speaking of each other. It's actually very magical to see them speak. So I can't see into the future, but my hallucination is that when more people are in the formula, we're actually going to have more effective communication. Does that answer your question?
Completely answers my question. I feel like when I'm 5D listening to people, though, sometimes me personally, I'm trying to pull out unique and interesting things to talk about. And what happens is I start thinking about remembering those after they're done talking, and I wind up forgetting to listen to the rest of the conversation. So that's the skill I have to sharpen for sure.
Yeah.
Hey guys, hey Fernando, can I jump in a little bit for
Please.
1 second as well?
Oh, dude, I'd love that.
You know, and Jay, this is to respond to the point that you're making right now. If everybody's living inside the formula, what a beautiful place to live, because back to the integrity component part of the human technology. And the integrity piece, when you're influencing, requires, right? It's mandatory that you're in a place of absolute love and caring and compassion for this person. So imagine two people who are primed in this technology and are using it for the right reasons. That means they both love and care for each other, and they really want to listen to one another in a way that most people don't get throughout their entire lives. You know, most people's spouses don't even listen to them at the level that we're talking about here. Really listening to the energetic shifts, really pulling out from them pain points, really pulling out from them things that they actually want to talk about. And even if you know, this is what's so amazing about it, even when you know that someone is using the technology, right, and listening to you, you can't help but smile, because it feels so good to be heard at that level. So the truth of it is that it's really frictionless, because it comes from a place of love and caring, and you really feel that authenticity when a person is using it for the right reasons. You know, if you're using this technology for manipulation, right, for your own ends, to achieve a result, to pull something out of a person that you'll then use against them to make a sale, and you don't really care about them, it becomes abundantly clear when you're dealing with those people, and it doesn't feel good, right? It feels like a hard sell. It feels like someone just trying to gather information and be sticky and to be shady and to be slimy in terms of the way they communicate with you. And so it's so important for your authenticity levels that you actually care about people and that you actually love them. And if you're using it for the wrong reasons, it does come clear. And I think one of the biggest breakthroughs that I had, and Fernando, I'll be super brief, I'm sorry about this. One of the biggest breakthroughs that
Michael,
I
you
had,
keep going in and out.
Yeah, Michael's a little tough, so I don't know if you're in movement, but please continue.
Yeah, so I'll speak a little bit slower then. One of the biggest breakthroughs that I had this week at Tony Robbins is that you can't be compassionate. You can't actually be showing people love when you're in judgment. And so if you're actually judging them, you're in the process of trying to like pick information out of them, as opposed to showing them true compassion and true love, then you're not getting the signal, you're not getting the message. And so to answer Jay's point, if you're truly compassionate, you truly love and truly care the person that you're talking to, you rap hard and you rap fast, right? Because a lot of people don't have that in their lives. I hope that gives clarity.
Yeah. Michael.
Yeah, thank you. Great answer.
That is Michael Smikin in the house. For everyone, like, it's such a blessing to have you here, Michael. Thank you so much. Adam, we got a couple more minutes. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, what Michael said is was perfectly stated. It's genuine authenticity and love. And we did a lot of acknowledgement, and it was real, and it was coming from the heart. And our misses were when we talk about our misses, I only feel like we missed not because we didn't get the outcome we desired. I feel like he wanted to tell us more, and I wanted to open up more. And he was a great guy, and I was loving the conversation, and I could have continued on longer. But yes, what Michael said was perfect, and I agree there 100%. Imagine a world of everybody listening and acknowledging and loving. I mean, it would be a perfect place to be.
Well, Adam, that is the world you already live in, because that is you in your most purest form, brother. So I am honored and blessed that you're creating this culture, that we're creating this culture together at UNBLINDED. So there's much more to dive in from this conversation, like upfront agreements, when we asked him how much time he had, and I'm sure Adam would get excited and talk about that. Hopefully we can continue it tomorrow. But what I want to end with is the power of upfront agreements, which is another opportunity that we had to know how much time we have with the person and to really understand what that person's outcome was upfront and speaking into that listening. So I hope that today's conversation helped sharpen your listening, help sharpen your language. And this is what we do on the huddles. This is unblinded sales mastery, helping you see what you don't see about the fun and excitement of exponentially growing your sales. And the outcome for everyone on this call is to make more money and less time with more magic. Thank you, Adam Gugino. Thank you, Michael Smikin. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Darcy, for all your communication here today. My name's Fernando. This is the end of our huddle, and we'll see you tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern for Fun Friday. Let's please jump on our unblindedmovement.com. That is our Facebook group. We had 551 yeses yesterday for January. The movement is happening. People are showing up. There's a world like before January 10, 11, and 12, and then there's a world after January 10, 11, and 12. And I'm so honored and blessed to be locking arms with all of you, making this happen. Darcy's coming into the office today. So please, let's play multiplication right now for $497. You not get 1, 2, 4, 7 tickets. For $497, you get 10 tickets. Why 10? Because at January 10, 11, and 12 at Lowe's Theater, each row is 10 people. So what we want is for you to be able to give this as a gift. So if you invest $497, you can invite your family, your friends, your coworkers, your employees, even your clients, so that they can learn the language. They can be sharpened in their listening. They can be sharpened in their language, and we can all walk away co-creating, merging ecosystems where 1 + 1 = 1 trillion, or at least 10 new relationships. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy your Trajectory Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Great call, folks.
Thank you.
Awesome call, Fernando. You rock. This is what it looks like, ladies and gentlemen.